countries in Africa, and the few countries that I've been through, I've had several people tell me, please don't bleach your skin. Please don't bleach your skin. Like, it's so sad that it's a bleaching pandemic. For all the women who want to bleach their skin because of colorism and to be lighter, to be prettier, don't bleach your skin. You're gonna look pink, you're gonna look gray, and you're gonna look like a Dalmatian. Love yourself, y'all. Love yourself. It's so crazy that I've gotten so many of these things, so many people telling me, please don't bleach your skin. Like, it's so sad. My fellow people in Africa have to tell me not to bleach my skin. I'm already confident enough in myself to love my skin color, but to hear this from like numerous people from the west to the south to the east, come on, y'all. Anyways, Africa's amazing. Africa's great.
All right. Welcome to Exposing Sierra Leone, your weekly dive into the issues, news, and people shaping Sierra Leone and the diaspora. Each week, join us as we engage with professionals, journalists, and various guests, or sometimes just the two of us, to explore ways to propel our country forward. From in-depth discussions to enlightening interviews, we're here to uncover the stories that matter most. So tune in and be part of the conversation as we work together to make a positive impact on Sierra Leone's episode. Sierra Leone's future, Sierra Leone's episode. So in today's episode, we're going to discuss the complex and concerning issue of skin bleaching in Sierra Leone and among its diaspora. In this live stream, we unpack the health risk linked to skin bleaching. We're going to also then talk about the efforts to regulate some of these harmful products. And we're going to just do a deep dive into some of our own personal experiences, what we've seen, what we've learned, what we have encountered. And we're going to ensure that all of you are aware of the things happening in this space. But before we go further, let's start with some introductions. So we have Admire here in the building. So Admire, I did a lot of talking just now. Do you want to do your intro first, and then I can do mine afterwards?
Okay, no problem. Sorry guys, it's getting crazy. I'm trying to get like a good.
You're good. This is good.
Okay, guys. Thank you for tuning in on here with us. My name is Admire, and I am the founder of the Sierra Leoneans Killing It page. On the Sierra Leoneans Killing It page, we basically talk about, we promote Sierra Leoneans who are positively killing it in our community. We highlight them, and we encourage them. We push them to keep killing it. I'm also a licensed braider located in Houston, Texas. So if you are watching from Houston and you need some braids, protective styles, that's what I specialize in, and you should definitely check out my work. I am a braider here, and I can't talk. Every time we come on YouTube, I just get like stuck sometimes.
But no worries. That is a good explanation of who you are and what you do. So I am Joe Hatagwa. I run the Authentic African page. My goal with that page is to ensure that we do as much of a job as the best job we can, helping the diaspora and Africans living on the continent to learn more about each other, share our stories, and together advance the continent of Africa. I also am focused on helping people move, invest, and visit the continent of Africa. I do some consulting on that, and in my day job, I put ads on internet-connected television. I also realized that for whatever reason, whenever we go live, the last 2 weeks, there's feedback on your device. Can you hear it?
My device?
Yeah. You can't hear it. Actually, it just went away. Look at that. It's gone. Just like that. Never mind.
I never heard it.
You never heard it? Okay. It's got it's coming back a little bit now, but I think it's fine. So that first video we just showed was of a travel influencer from Cameroon. She's been living in the West for a while, but what she was expressing was the fact that when she had traveled to a couple of parts on the continent of Africa, people had told her, please don't bleach your skin. Your skin is beautiful. Don't bleach it. Don't bleach it. And the fact that people had to say that to her lets you know how prominent and prevalent skin bleaching is. So as we allow people to get on, and we are going to react to some of the conversations that we had earlier. But before we do, I thought I'd give a little bit of context to what's happening in the world as it pertains to skin bleaching, so people can be all on the same page about what the problem is. So number one, as I mentioned in the previous live stream, and I'm saying it here, skin bleaching is common practice in Sierra Leone. Though the exact prevalence data is limited, the practice extends to Sierra Leoneans living abroad as part of the African diaspora. In Africa broadly, the lifetime prevalence of skin bleaching, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Lifetime prevalence of skin bleaching is estimated at 27.1%, within rates of some countries as being as high as 77%. So the use of skin bleaching products pose serious health risks. So one, skin diseases. Prolonged use can lead to various skin conditions and damage. Two, systemic health issues. There are links to diabetes, hypertension, and renal diseases. Cancer risk. Long-term use of skin bleaching products is associated with an increase of cancer. And then mercury poisoning is also a concern. Some products contain harmful levels of mercury, leading to poisoning cases. There are societal and psychological factors. So the practice of skin bleaching in Sierra Leone is rooted in complex societal issues, right? So colonial legacy, as we talked about previously. The practice has roots in the transatlantic slave trade and European colonization, reflecting internalized colorism. Beauty standards. There's a prevalent belief that lighter skin is more attractive, influenced by media and societal norms. Self-esteem. Many individuals engage in skin bleachings due to low self-esteem and the desire to fit certain beauty ideals. And I think that was something that came up in our previous conversation. And the public health response. So addressing skin bleaching requires a multifaceted approach. Obviously, it needs education, promoting self-love, and regulatory action. It is seen by some as a threat to African cultural identity. Critics argue that it's an insult to our true African identity and comes with severe medical complications, as we do know. Addressing the issue in skin bleaching in Sierra Leone and the diaspora requires a combination of so many different things. And it starts with the conversations, right? So we want to start there. While I work to get the other video up that will help, that we will be responding to, I thought I would play a video about what's happening elsewhere in Africa, because it really has become a problem. So actually, you know what? Before I do that, I just talked about some of the medical challenges. Let me now go through and explain, and I'll have someone who's looked this up and who is a little bit more knowledgeable on this. She does a quick video. She'll give her thoughts, and then we can give some of our commentary on the other side.
So is skin bleaching safe? Let's get into it. A lot of these skin brightening products contain ingredients such as topical steroids, mercury, and hydroquinone, and many of these products have some really serious side effects. Just to name a few, this includes redness of the skin, acne, folliculitis, stretch marks, depigmentation, and even skin cancer. Outside of the skin, mercury exposure has been associated with neurological complications such as tremor, slurred speech, irritability, and depression. It's just not worth it.
There it is. It's just not worth it. I mean, she said it all right there, right?
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet and to the point. 40 seconds. She told you it's not worth it. Don't do it. And I think that is. I mean, I think that story right there is why I think more people should hear more videos like that. There should be more videos like that in the world, telling people what the potential side effects are. I don't know how often those things come up, right? And so I think it's really important that we do have these conversations more regularly. So like some of those health concerns we saw, I was not aware of. You know, and so I don't know if there was anything there that you heard that you might find as helpful. I wonder if you mute your side while I talk, if the feedback stops. Let's see if that works.
Okay.
Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, then we might have to try something else. And then what I'll do is I'll mute.
Stop my cam. It just says remove from stage, edit audio.
I can mute you and see if that works, and then I'll also try it myself. So is the feedback gone? It looks like the feedback is gone. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Admire, when you talk, I'll mute my mic, and then I'll mute you when I'm talking as well. So just that way that the feedback doesn't come up. So let me unmute you now so that you can say whatever you need to say, and then I'll mute myself.
Okay, no problem. But no, that's fine. I'm down. That's fine. I don't hear the feedback stuff, but if you guys are hearing it, then that's a problem. So let's do whatever to make it a smooth live.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So there, I want to get the first clip up and going. Now we are doing this in real time, ladies and gentlemen. I am uploading clips as we speak. This is in real time. And so we're gonna get this clip up, and then we're gonna respond to it. So this is Admire Demo's cousin. Actually, you know what? It's gonna take a little while for that. So while that's loading, we're going to play what's happening in Cameroon right now. So this is from ACN, I think it is. They're speaking to what they did in Cameroon to try to attempt to fix this problem of skin bleaching. So let's listen to what they have to say, and let's give some more thoughts on the other side.
Skin bleaching can have devastating consequences for the skin. Faced with the increasing popularity of whitening creams, the Cameroonian government was recently forced to ban the import of these cosmetic products due to the growing cases of skin damage. Some local craftswomen did not waste any time and rushed into the cosmetic sector for black skin mainly. There you have dart leaves that I use very often to make soap. I also use lemon leaves, and I also use guava leaves. Beyond that, I can use snail slime for certain cosmetic products because it is well known that snail slime is reputed to fight against stretch marks.
Cet entrepreneur fait partie.
This entrepreneur decided to take a structured approach to this problem in order to bring their fellow citizens of black complexion to love their skin.
D'inciter ou d'amener leurs concitoyens de teint noir à aimer leur peau.
Alongside these entrepreneurs, there are activists like Alex, who is openly opposed to skin bleaching. He is the co-founder of the Black Attitude Association. We at Black Attitude want Africa to return to its originality. The black complexion protects 5 times more than the white complexion. It is therefore a skin that is more resistant. It ages more slowly, and it has nothing to envy of other skin tones. The advantages of keeping one's skin black is perhaps the ideal message in the fight against skin bleaching in a country where the extent of this practice continues to worry the authorities.
So that was interesting, right? So you know, I'll give you a chance to talk about it while I set up these other videos. What are your thoughts on that video we just watched, Admire?
I mean, I'm glad that it's being banned in Cameroon, or I don't know, is it in process of being banned? I like that idea. I wish that all African countries can ban it, but there's going to be people who are going to be against it. That's just life. A lot of people are going to have their own opinions and thoughts and whatever, but I'm glad that someone somewhere in an African country is fighting to get it banned. I absolutely love that idea.
Well put, and I think that's I agree. I mean, obviously, you know, the idea of government overreach is not ideal, but in a situation like this, this is a product that has a widespread issue on overall consumer harm. And so you want to try to reduce the harm to large populations. There's a lot of comments in here, so definitely want to give people a chance to hear what they're saying. So Love I Am says hi. Love I Am says garbled echo in your speech, brother. I think that had to do with the previous issues. I think we're fine now. Okay, so they said now it's fine. The feedback is gone. Synovia Indigo says the self-hatred is real. The sun loves melanin skin. Those things are all true. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go to the clip. Yeah, I'm doing this in real time, y'all. You don't know what I'm doing in the background, but I'm making it happen. So we're gonna go to the clip of from the previous live stream where Admire's cousin joined and told the story about how someone told her she should bleach her skin. So let's listen to that and then give some thoughts on the other side. So let's have her join and we'll play that video and then we'll talk about it. Guys have to say. There we go.
Oh no, it's me. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi. My name's Gika. This topic is very touching to me, as a dark-skinned woman. And I kind of have a story to share, about this.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so not too long ago, I was with one of the African aunties, I would say, not specifically mine, but out of respect.
Sure.
And at her store, and she was like, "Oh, Gika, you're a beautiful woman. I have a son." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm not really interested, but okay, let me hear it." And so I was like, "Sure." She was like, "Oh, I'll send his pictures to you and see, if he's interested and whatnot." And I was like, "Okay, amazing." So then she got back to me the next day. She saw me, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, my son thinks you're pretty, but he's into light skinned women, unless you want to bleach your skin." And I was like, yeah, and this is coming from someone herself. She's really bleached out by the undertones of her skin. Yes, so she has like a lot of scarring from bleaching. And then I told her, I was like, no way, like I will never bleach my skin, and especially for a man, like no way. I love my dark skin. I've always been dark skin, and I love it. And dark skinned women are beautiful. I don't think we need to bleach our skin to define our beauty. We're very much beautiful just as light skinned women. So I thought that was awful, like coming from another Sierra Leonean lady, suggesting that I bleach my skin, to fit what your son finds beautiful, which is light skinned women,
Yeah.
So, Admire, what I will turn it over to you because I'm doing some clipping and stuff in the background. But I mean, this is your cousin. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Like, what were your thoughts after you're hearing her tell this story?
Well, even when she told me when it happened in real time, I was disappointed in her, in the lady, because I grew up in Massachusetts and I go to her market or her store. So that was very disappointing of her to say that to my cousin. Also, I'm just glad that my cousin has a strong mind, a mind of her own, that she doesn't let society define what beauty is when it comes to her skin tone, that she never like let up and started bleaching. Although growing up, we've seen a lot of aunties, cousins, nieces, nephews, even men bleaching their skin in the African community. So I was really proud of her. I've been proud of her from growing up anyway, for not listening to people. And I did say, when I heard it, I did say sorry to her. Like, I'm sorry that you like even had to hear her say that. Like, that's just sad. It's sad. But at the same time, with the lady, like how I said earlier, it's based on how you were raised and the environment that you're in. If you're around people that bleach their skin a lot, and they are encouraging you to do the same, they are promoting it, they are saying that this is the way to go, like this is the beauty standard or whatever, you're going to end up eventually doing what they're doing. Also, if you grew up in a household where your mom bleaches and your siblings are bleaching and they are promoting that it's okay, eventually you're gonna hate how you look and you're gonna end up doing what they're doing, unless you have a strong mind. It depends on your mindset, for you to be able to change or not even do that, and also how you were raised. What if that lady probably thought it was okay growing up? Probably her mom, her grandma, aunties been bleaching, And so they normalized it for her. So now she's walking around in La La Land thinking, yeah, bleaching is the way to go. Even though she do look a hot mess, respectfully speaking, because you can tell when somebody's bleaching. You can tell from their skin tone, the different colors, it's not normal. It doesn't look like God-given skin. So that's just the truth of the matter. But yeah, I'm really proud of my cousin for not even encouraging that BS. And yeah, that's my thoughts. Back over to you.
Yeah, I mean, and look, so to put into context what it looks like, right? So as Admire just said, it does not look good. I mean, you're seeing here some examples of folks that have done some bleaching. So this young lady in upper left hand side, you can see the bleaching that she had done. Now she was beautiful already. What she did just made her look pale. This young gentleman here, scary how he looks, and then my boy over here. Um, you know, thoughts. You guys can give your own thoughts. And then and then here, it's unfortunate, because this woman's actually telling her bleaching story, right? Now I think some people might look at this and say, oh, she actually does look better after she bleached, but this is actually her without makeup on before bleaching, and this is her with makeup on after bleaching. So what would have been nice is if she could show what she looked like without her makeup on before and after. And I think what you would find is that you would wished that she would have stayed with her current shade than changing her shade. Now I just showed a couple pictures and I see Admire giving some thoughts. So I want to bring Admire's audio back in so you can give your thoughts on those pictures that I just showed, and then I'll mute myself. So let me just allow you to say what you need to say.
I did say right. I forgot that the whole meeting thing's going on. But yeah. She could have kept the same energy with her natural God-given skin, posing with no makeup on, and did the same thing, like you said. But she didn't. And so a lot of people with the weak or whatever mindset, they're gonna think, oh, it's better. They're not gonna notice these little things, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it seems as though the feedback was back, so I had to mute you real quick. So I have a couple more videos from our live stream. Guys, just so you know, I just did like quick edits while Admire was talking while we were watching those videos. I just edited like 4 different clips from the larger video. So we're gonna reply and respond to the clips of the live stream we just went on. This next one was a gentleman who had a lot of energy. It's quite long, but he brought in a lot of great insight. Because in the previous live stream, I could not cut him off. I just couldn't get around to doing it. I am going to cut him off here. So we're not going to listen to the whole thing, but I just wanted to give you a piece of the discussion because he really did say a couple of serious gems. So let's press play on that, and then let's give us our thoughts on the other side.
We do.
Yes.
Peace and blessing, peace and blessing, peace and blessing, brothers and sisters.
Can you
Boy,
guys
look at these beautiful black people. These are some beautiful black people. Look at them. Boy, look at the
I'll take
skin
that
on y'all.
compliment. I'll take that compliment.
Eyes, look at the spirit. I know what they meant when they said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. So, I mean,
wait? Can you
you
guys
look
see
at,
him?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
can you see me?
we can
I
see
just
you.
heard
We
your
can hear you.
topic. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
loud and
We
clear.
can hear you.
we can hear you.
Okay, great. And I was just when I saw the topic and I was just reading this book, right? This book was
Post-traumatic
written by
slave syndrome. Yeah, it's
yeah.
backwards to us, but I know the book. Yeah.
That's where bleaching of the skin and lightening of the skin came from. That came from historical and generational damages of not only Africans in
Mm-hmm.
Sierra Leone, but also here in America,
Right.
in the South, in the North, in the West, and in the East. Because we were taught through the Roman Catholic Church to hate who we are and love who we'll never be, and that is the European. See, everything that's been ever taught to us was taught to us through a European perspective. Everything was right. I'm older than y'all. I think I have probably grandkids y'all age. Now, I remember growing up in the 1960s. Yeah, look at the look on your faces. I guess y'all saying, but he older than us. In the 1960s. And you did not see any, and I mean any black people on television. Everything was European, you know? So here it is. We grew up with the perspective that white guys wear white and bad guys wear black. See, we was always taught that anything dark was wrong and anything white was right.
Yep.
Came straight out of the Roman Catholic Church. You got to remember now, Queen Isabella of Spain and King Ferdinando in 1420 declared war on Africa, reducing the African to animal, and declaring in the Roman Catholic Church that the white man is to rule over the planet and all dominion. He is the pure man. He is the righteous man. He is the man of God. He is the man that God ordained to attack Africa of his resources and his human beings. And they were the first people that made selling human beings into a major business and enterprise. Africa has never had a slave-based economy. They never had a shipbuilding economy to ship slaves. They never had insurance companies to insure slave ships and slaves on board. They never had that. Africans did not do that. They didn't have to. Only two groups of people that are responsible for that behavior in history, and that is the European and the Arab, our two biggest enemies in global history. So when you see people lighting up their skin with chemicals and bleaches, which most of them have cancer-causing ingredients, it's because they were taught for centuries that their blackness was wrong. That's why Queen Isabella ordained Henry the Navigator say that they are savages and that they eat human beings. And here it is, Africa got so much food in it, it's ridiculous. But
So yeah, I mean, he touched on so many points there, and unfortunately, there's no way for me to edit, stop, pause, whatever. But there were so many things there. I think the two main things that came from that, and I would recommend the two books that he had mentioned, was The Cultural Genocide of Africa, and he also mentioned The Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. I think those are two books you definitely should check out. He's a serious Pan-Africanist. Man, everybody was really, really loving what he had to say. I recommend you go back and watch the live stream. If you wanna get the full the full details of what he said. But yeah, let me turn it over to Admire. Do you have any additional thoughts on what he had been saying? Anything that came out of that stuck out to you?
Well, one of the books that he recommended, I've never heard about that book before or of it, but the other one I have, and he basically dropped a lot of gems, and I now want to read those books. He motivated me to actually pick up the books and read it. So I definitely enjoyed having him. He had a good energy, very energetic, very funny, very educated man that we learned a lot from. I can't hear you, Joe. I think you have to unmute yourself and mute me.
Fail. Okay, yeah. So I think coming out of that, yeah, I mean, he had a lot to say. It was like, I mean, he's a serious Pan-Africanist. It reminded me of those live streams that I would do with African Stream and getting that passion from a Pan-Africanist. He definitely said, I probably have grandchildren your age. I think it's unlikely for me because I am older than I might look, but he might have children my age. I doubt he has grandchildren my age. If he's in his 60s, he'd have to be doing some really some serious work early, and his children would have had to been doing some serious work early. But no, I mean, seriously, he dropped some gems, and I wrote notes, right? I wrote down two books that he had mentioned, and so that's why I wanted to bring that back to you guys, because he mentions the cultural genocide of Africa after that particular clip, but just overall, I thought it was really helpful. All right, cool. So there are two more clips that I want to play from the live stream. So there was a gentleman that came on, and he gave a little bit of his story. So I thought it might be good to have him. And then there was a young lady that comes on and tells her story. So I'm going to get to his story next, and then we'll get to the young lady's story. We'll give our opinions afterwards. So let's go ahead and press play on that. They think that Islam is a religion of Africa, and it's really been brought by the Arab slave trade. But now that we have another guest, let's have him give a chance to discuss. So can you, brother, can you give us your name, where you're calling in from, and also
Hey,
your story about skin bleaching, please? We'd
this,
love to hear
this
it.
is not your boy. This is your king, King De Leon from Sierra Leone. I'm based in the United States, here in New Mexico.
Okay.
Um, and I've learned a lot living with natives in New Mexico about just similar experiences to the African experience. And one of those is education. A
Mm.
lot of times, what we call education is really an indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
So the Greeks mastered this. They called it Hellenization. There was a time, the more Greek you are, the more intelligent you are. The more you can speak Greek, look Greek, eat Greek food, your hair looks Greek, everything that, the more you look Greek, the more intelligent, the more beautiful you are. And they called that Hellenization.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're living in a time where it's called Westernization, where that's the concept. And the more Westernized we are, the more intelligent we are, the more beautiful we are. So for the Native Americans, the way they fought that, because they had their own villages, their own tribes, their own languages, just like we have in Africa, they, they were separate. They were, how do I say, they were taken away from their lands and pushed west, you know. So even though they lost a lot of their lands, they were able to preserve their culture because they were still together. So you know what they did to infiltrate the Native Americans? They created boarding home schools and forced their kids to go to the boarding home schools. And when those kids will come back home, they will refuse to speak their language, and they will not want to look anything like their native people where they actually come from their villages. So that indoctrination that we call education, it has mastered us so well. It's all over Africa. We still have an education system from colonization to this day. We know more about, when you go to school in Sierra Leone, you know more about British history
Mm-hmm.
than anything about Asian. You never know about the Mansa Musas and all these things,
Mm-hmm.
but you definitely know a whole lot more about the British conquest and everything that's done in Africa. So our whole
Right.
education system is the issue, because the skin the skin is nothing more than a physical manifestation. The issue is the mental, what's happening in our mental, right?
Well put. He said it all. I mean, I think, the idea of the boarding schools, I think, was important too, right? Taking you out of your home and indoctrinating you. And I love the fact that he said, the education system is an indoctrination system, and it's an indoctrination in the West, and that has a lot to do with all of the things we're talking about today. Any thoughts on that, Admire, from your perspective?
I definitely agree with a lot of what he said as well. From things I love when he said at the end that basically everything we've been taught is not it. We must reread and relearn and reteach ourselves the things that we're supposed to actually know, practice, and all of that. So, I mean, he definitely shared a lot of good points, and I agree with him 1,000% for sure. Because we do be everything we do learn, everything we think we know about our history. It's not even it, or a lot of times it's not even taught in school. To be honest, our history is not taught in school, like he was saying. So he definitely, we must reset our minds. It's about our mindset now. Once you read, what are you going to do? Are you going to be the change that you want to see, or are you just going to keep living in Delulu land? Like, what is it that you're going to do?
The Lululand is hilarious every time you say that. So, and sorry guys, I know I have to mute her so that I can speak, so that we don't have the feedback. I know generally it's better if it sounds like a regular conversation, so I apologize. We'll have to figure out the sound for future. So Tiggy, aka Haja, says, Admire's cousin giving that example was the point I wanted to bring up. I believe majority of women bleach their skin for the male gaze. That's the unfortunate truth. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk a lot about what women do for the male gaze. I'll leave that to the women. So what are your thoughts there?
I 100% agree. The fact that the lady was so bold to say, oh, maybe for bleach. So because my son only likes light skinned women, maybe you should bleach, suggesting that my cousin should bleach to fit his type is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. And it makes me think that maybe her mother told her to bleach her skin so she can be with the guy that she's with. She's married, you know? It just goes to show, like how, like I said earlier, um, people decide to bleach because of different reasons. It may be because of how you grew up. It may be because of people you surround yourself with that keep constantly telling you, "Oh, you should bleach. Oh, you should bleach. Look, I'm bleaching and I'm lighter, and this is happening. I got this gig and this and that." So it depends on you and your mindset as well, because these things happen. And like I was saying earlier, I admire my cousin for not listening to things she's been hearing, like growing up from when we were little, about her skin tone. And I love that she loves her skin tone. She loves her God given skin. And she plans to leave it as is. Like, and love herself. You just have to love yourself enough to cancel or mute the noise that you hear around you. So I definitely agree with the sister.
Well put. I'm a step out of the male gaze element of it because I don't want to get in trouble. I will just say, respectfully, as Admire likes to say, I'm not with it. I'm not with the bleaching. I'll just say that. That's just one opinion from one male. I don't speak for us all. But yeah, I don't like the bleaching. And women of all skin tones, as long as you keep your skin clean, are beautiful. Let's remember that. All right, cool. So thank you for the clap. I know we couldn't hear it, but we saw it though. We saw it. Okay, so so we got one last person who's gonna tell her story and then we're gonna respond to it. Now she by the way, guys, I'm so impressed with myself. I know I'm throwing this out there. That sounds crazy. Y'all know how hard this was to take clips of this video and upload them while we were doing the earlier part of this live stream. Y'all don't know what that takes. Let me tell you guys something. It is difficult. So this is the last clip, and we'll go through this, and then I want to give our opinions on the other side. So let's press play, and then we'll talk.
Request. Hey.
Hey, how are you? Hi,
Hey,
good
Okay, we
evening.
got a Brit in the building. What's up? What's up? How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How
In
are
British.
you
it,
guys? Hey,
In it, in
girl.
it.
in it. Mm-hmm.
So I just
What's
wanted
up?
to ask a question. So I think I'll play the devil's advocate a little
Sure.
bit. Um, my daughter, and admire, as you know, Annabelle, she's very dark skinned, right? And the other day, someone said to me, "Oh, she would have been so pretty if she was a bit lighter." Literally, someone said that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And for me, that was like, it was so painful when the person said it. I didn't know how to react. But do you not think people bleach their skin for situations like that? Because they don't want to go through that. No one wants to be told that she would have been prettier if she was lighter.
Right.
It's
No,
it's so do you guys not think people then, if a weak-minded person would then go to the extent of bleaching their skin? I know someone that bleaches their child's skin. A weak-minded person would then succumb to those type of criticism and start doing other things, right? So do you guys not think it's the society that we're in? And quite frankly, light to skin people do have privileges. So
Mm-hmm.
do you guys not think
Mm-hmm.
people are succumbing to these pressure, hence the reason why they're bleaching? I'm not saying bleaching is good.
Mm-hmm.
right.
I would never bleach my skin, but personally, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate to understand why they do it.
I think honestly, I think it's a
Okay.
it's a it's a thing of multiple reasons depending on, I think I said this earlier, how you were raised or your environment. It could be going where you live or the country and people's opinions, like what just happened with your experience with somebody
Yeah.
asking. It could be that the person can be weak-minded to the point where they're like, I'm tired of hearing this. I'm tired of people making comments like, "Oh shoot, I'll be lighter. I mean, I'll be much prettier if I was lighter, so I might as well just do it." Or it
Yeah.
could be seeing family members growing up doing it and embracing it and encouraging you. Oh, not for bleach. Oh, you for not for rubber. Just do this one. This one, not too harsh. You know, get boku boku waiting. Just begin with this. Like it could be that as well. It could be multiple reasons. I definitely believe that, not just one reason.
Yeah, and I'll just say, so yes, I definitely think that you know, your point is well taken, that people would do this based on the things that you said. However, in general, I think that what they're doing doesn't actually improve their circumstance, right?
Right.
If they are of the opinion that they are better because they're lighter, then they won't actually be a more productive member of society and won't likely have the success they're looking to have by doing that, right? Because all you're
But to argue,
doing,
sorry, not to cut you off, but to
well, you
argue
did.
that fact. I'm
Not to
so
cut you off, but you
sorry.
did.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead,
Argue your
then.
fact. No, go ahead.
Go
Argue
ahead.
your fact. Let's hear it.
But do you not think lighter people, like there is light skin privileges?
Yeah.
Something a lighter person can do, I cannot do.
Well, let's take that back. I think words are powerful and important. I wouldn't say something a light-skinned person can do, I cannot
Okay.
do. Now, it may mean you have to work
I mean,
harder.
I took that
It may
far.
mean, yeah, it may mean you have to do things like, okay, because, you know, obviously as a black man growing up in America, I was told 1,000 times you have to work 10 times harder to get the same results as
Right.
someone else,
Right.
right? I didn't think it made sense to lighten my skin so I could have those same results. I've also been told many times that if you're taller, you move through life faster and better as a male. I'm a male at 5'8", right? I'm not gonna break my legs to make myself taller. I'm just gonna have to deal with it, right? I'm 5'8". I'm gonna be 5'8",
Right.
right? I played the cards that were dealt in life. And you know, in order to achieve what I had to achieve, yeah, I probably had to work harder than other people. But it doesn't mean that that I should have taken that route. Because at the end of the day, taking that route doesn't improve my circumstances. It only makes me feel worse about who I used to be. And so that then adds new levels of psychological issues for you as an individual who's going through the process of doing that. Even if you move through certain areas of life faster, you're pretending to be something else. You are acting as something else and who you're not. So I think in general it has a more negative impact and effect
Kind of
to
positive.
go through the process to make that change than it is to go through the work and become a better person in order to achieve the results you're looking to achieve.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you. That's
Definitely.
just all. Thank you very much. I just wanted to play the devil's advocate for a little bit.
I get it.
So
Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
you.
I know that's a sensitive thing, being that that's your daughter.
I
You know
know.
what I mean?
Honestly.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that is crazy that somebody would
I'm
say
sure
that.
it's also common with a lot of parents, or like a lot of parents probably experience what you've experienced as well. So if you're a parent and you've experienced this, I hope that you are watching and that you are listening to all our opinions and stuff like that. Thank you, Coco.
Yes,
Bye,
appreciate it.
guys. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. So, Admire, I feel like you know her, so maybe you can give some additional context because she did say my daughter is, you know my daughter, right? So maybe you can give some additional context. So let me mute and then I'll unmute you.
Yes, that's actually one of my friends, Jariatu. She has a beautiful daughter. I love her. She has a personality. Her personality is on 10. But no, I do know her, and that was very concerning and crazy. Like that when she shared that. That was very crazy. Like I don't even know if I was a parent or like how I would react, but that's crazy. And imagine, I don't know what was going on in her mind, the child's mind, because you never know. Sometimes kids don't want to share what they're going through or what they're thinking and battling and stuff like that. So it's crazy. But I'm really glad that she came on and shared that, because like I said, maybe a lot of moms are like, what do I do? They've been in her shoes and they're like, what do I even say to my daughter? Like, how do I even bring this topic up? You know what I mean? So um, I appreciate that And I like that she brought that perspective. Like, she wants to play the devil's advocate. She wants to know what our thoughts are. Um, yeah, that was intense though. That was a sensitive thing. Definitely, especially being that it's her daughter, and I would be so pissed if somebody just comes up to me and tells me such things. It just goes to show a lot of people don't care. They just be saying anything. They don't care if the child is around. Um, they don't care how it may affect the child, what they're saying. They just want to speak. And that's just that, you know? You're
Yes,
muted.
yes, and yes, yes, and yes. I'm with you. Sorry. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think that is incredibly sad that somebody would say that to someone and their child, that you know, she would be prettier if she lightened her skin. That is wild. Just in every sense of the way of the phrase, term, the idea of it is crazy. And I do think it's important to try to come at it from the reasons why. Because I think, you know, in order to diagnose the problem, you need to be able to in order to have a cure, you need to diagnose it. And to diagnose it, you do need to understand what's been going on. And so I think that was important, and it was helpful to have that thought process. I said a lot in that clip, so I don't have much more to say, except that one of the other things that I said earlier is, you know, it's not about the destination; it's the person you become in the process, right? You know, when people talk about certain levels of financial success or family success, etc., that requires work to get there. And the reason why many people enjoy their lives when they reach there is because the person they became along the process. I think one of the things I also said in the previous live stream that's now coming back to me is that there's a reason why generational wealth is a very rare thing. Like, it doesn't move on to the next generations. In general, the people who didn't have to work for it squander it, right? So, you know, you can pick and choose any person of immense wealth in world history, and generally it gets lost by the next generation. And so Mansa Musa was brought up by the gentleman earlier, and Mansa Musa's wealth was lost by that next generation. It was all gone, and he's the richest person in human history. They say worth over $400 billion, and all of that was gone through infighting. And you know, those who didn't work to bring it all together are not going to be able to work to keep it. And that's just in general the issue. And so it is important that the person you become along the way, it improves who you are, and it makes you feel better about yourself. And so in that sense, it makes you feel even better about the person that you are, then instead of feeling worse about yourself. And maybe if in some way you move through life or some area of life faster because you've lightened your skin, it only makes you feel lesser about who you actually are, and you're only going to identify yourself with the lack of pigmentation in your skin. So real quick, Tiggy had mentioned the two previous gentlemen's points. That is the reason why critical race theory is being pushed by the right-wing lawmakers. Yeah, and so there's this concept of the great replacement theory. And that is saying that people of color are coming to the country, and they are going to replace those who aren't melanated. And the idea is that by doing so, they may end up treating the people who then become minorities the same way minorities have been treated. It's acknowledging that there's systemic challenges and that minorities haven't been treated the best in this country. If there's a fear of becoming a minority, why would you fear becoming a minority if you think that minorities are treated better than the majority, right? And so I think it's something to think about. And so, yeah, I think to Tiggy's point, that is really true. Atasi says, well, let's consider this. In Sierra Leone, light-skinned people definitely get preferential treatment growing up. When we were in school, light-skinned kids definitely got more attention. Everyone wanted to be their friend. They definitely had privileges than other kids didn't. And it continues right into adulthood. Now, as someone who was born in Salon, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Admire. I was not born in Sierra Leone, so I can't really speak to this too much, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, your early life, and what your thoughts are on what she just said, or what they said. Sorry, Atasi said.
I don't remember much because I left when I was like 7, but I do know from hearing my siblings talk about me how I was when I was younger. I was always, they said I was bad. I was big woman. I be bad. I be get sharp mods and I bossed my friends around. I was the leader and everybody followed me. And I was so, I really don't remember much to be honest because I left at a very young age. I just remember some things like traumatic things, what have you, but I honestly do not remember much. I just hear from stories that I was bossy. I was telling my friends what to do. I didn't listen to any friend. I would tell them what to do. I would tell them who to be friends with. I do not remember these things, so I couldn't tell you.
Fair, fair, fair. Yeah, and I didn't realize you were 7 when you left. Wow. Okay, so that's a conversation for another time because there were some traumatic things that happened prior to 7 that we should talk about for the group, and people need to hear about those things. So yeah, I mean, I think that point well taken. I think, yeah, I mean, I have heard people say fair skin is better looking in Sierra Leone. I mean, I've heard that on many occasions. And I think I said that in the last live stream that like somebody was like, oh, she's so beautiful. And the first way to describe her as beautiful is her complexion. Right. And I've heard it by women. I've heard it by men. I've heard it by young. I've heard it from the old. Everyone across the board who I've heard it from is in all different areas and walks of life. I'm not saying that everyone thinks that way, but I've heard it from people who come from all different walks of life. And so yeah. Well, look, guys. So there's a lot of talk about changing the narrative. I think we do need to change the narrative. I know that we haven't been on quite that long on this live stream, but Admire and I have been on for quite a long time. And so what we want to do is maybe we want to bring this thing to a close and say, thank you to all who attended. And Meyer, do you have any final thoughts before we go? I want to turn it over to you for final thoughts. Yeah, so first of all, let me unmute you. Yeah, any final thoughts?
I would say just love yourself. If you don't love yourself already or you're having issues loving yourself, accepting the skin you're in, I would say read books. The recommendations from today's live earlier on the Instagram live, those were good recommendations so you can get to know and learn about your history and do things like self-care things so you can relearn yourself, get to know yourself. Sometimes you get lost, life, and then you're like, I lost myself. I don't even know what I like anymore. I don't even know. Like everything I don't like all of a sudden about myself. It starts with you, it starts with your mindset, and nobody can change your mind. Nobody can tell you what to do but yourself. I would say definitely learn to love yourself again. Practice self love, things that you like, things that you enjoy, and say no to bleaching because it doesn't even it has a lot of effects. Number one being how like damage it damages your skin and it can cause diseases, skin diseases later on. It's a quick fix that's not even good for you. Like, so let's just start unlearning these things. Let's start um undoing or accepting stuff that's not really acceptable. Let's change the narrative and be the change that we want to see. That's my final thought.
Well put. And first of all, I want to say thank you, Admire, for doing this live stream. Of course, as always, it's always good to get together and talk about things pertaining to Sierra Leone and sometimes the broader African or West African community. Thank you to you all who joined the live stream. I know this is a short one. It's maybe like 30. Oh, it's no, this is, oh, sorry. This has almost been an hour. What am I talking about? It's 30 past the hour, but this has been 54 minutes. So this has been quite the live stream. So Love I Am says, yes, thank you for the live videos, both on IG and YouTube. Yes, thank you guys for joining. Because there's some technical challenges between Instagram and these other live streams, we do that live stream and then we respond to it later. So anytime you see me promote this particular stream, just know it's going to be immediately following the Instagram. The Instagram is just a little bit easier for people to join in and join the discussion. So that's why we do that. And then we come back and react to it and give additional thoughts with some time to have thought about it. So thank you all for joining. We appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you head over to Sierra Leoneans Killing It YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button, hit that notification all so you're notified every time a new video comes out. Of course, if you haven't already, head over to Authentic African as well. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. And then I'm across all platforms. Also personal pages. And Maya Demo, you'll find her name on Instagram. My name is also just as spelled here. You'll find it on Instagram. In fact, all of our handles are in the names as expressed on screen here today. So Admire Demo is how you'll find her personal page. Sierra Leoneans Killing It. She also has other hair braiding pages that you can find from her other pages. And then same thing for me, not hair braiding, but just other things that I'm working on. You can find from my pages when you go to my pages as well. All right, so with that, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you all on the next video. Bye, guys. I can't even find it. I'm trying to find my outro video. Can't find the outro video. Just here trying to find the outro video. Here we go.